Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Team Fortress TV for ETF2L Season 37 Premiership Division Quarterfinal between SVIFT and the Bus Crew. My name is Lucky. Tonight I'm joined by the Rahmed himself on production and Beta as my co-cast. How's it going, bud?
Oh, I can't wait, man. So good to be in the playoffs, Lucky. We've grinded it out all season. We've had some small, tiny upsets, but I think we're mostly where we expected to be. Maybe in a bit different order than what we expected, but this is going to be really exciting. We've seen roster shakeups, we've seen like upsets in the season and some weird results as well. So I am just looking forward to this, man. This is going to be such a treat to see these two teams go at it.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's one of the matchups that I wanted to see most of the season. I mean, it was a corker in the mid-season when these two teams faced each other. They had an incredible series, going to a golden cap on the first map and nearly scraping a golden cap in the second one. It was, whew, but SVIFT actually, despite their 4-2 victory that they ended up receiving, they did in fact lose the golden cap on Sunshine to the Bus Crew. So this is as close as it gets in terms of matchups, and we did see some weakness at SVIFT in the actual tournament that we had on that one weekend. I can't remember the name of that tournament for the life of me anymore.
The DreamHack Community Clash.
That one. DreamHack Community Clash. That one. Yes. There was some weakness from SVIFT and a lot of good showing from the Bus Crew. And people have been keen to count them out. I've been talking about them a lot. I may as well run down the roster real quick. On the side of the Bus Crew, we have Caper, Aidlos, Jeevan, Warped, Deli, and Martin. How are you feeling overall about these boys?
They're really good. Obviously, I really do love how the team is constructed. I think it all makes sense. Like Deli and Demo Man is just a powerhouse. Mun and Medic has always been good. And then we've got Caper and Idolos. Caper, I think, had his first season in Prem last season, and he was good, and everyone knew he was going to be good. And he has had this season of like super high highs and some real mediocreness. It's been kind of interesting to see. And then we've got Jevon and Warped on Soldiers, both really good. Warped in particular has been very, very good, I think. So I really like this roster. I think they have a really, really good shot at actually just taking this, because they kind of have this nice mix between new young guns and some real experience to carry them along. So definitely something that I'm looking forward to. But yeah. Let's move on to the SVIFT roster, because that is a more spicy one, so to speak, because they have Gazi and Kunu on Scout, which is like a perfectly constructed Scout combo, in my opinion, and then you have Josh and Nubby on Soldier, and those are some two mid-season additions stepping in for, I want to say, a D-Ski and EverX.
Correct.
Yeah, and then of course you got Nasboy on Demo Man and Seeds on Medic. Nasboy has been around for a while. He's kind of a rising star. He's kind of in that position where he wants to prove himself to be the best demo man in the league, right? But maybe he's not quite there yet. Maybe we just need to have it proven to us. Time will tell. And then we've got Seeds, who's one of the absolute best medics in the game.
Yeah, and Nasboy's had a shot at getting that top spot for the last 3 seasons, not quite securing it a couple of times, but definitely getting up there. I mean, when we watch Nas, he just seems to pop off quite a lot of the time in situations where he's in a tight space, and will just suddenly get like 3 or 4 frags for his team, and then it'll be like, oh, well, that situation's turned around horribly in a lot of situations. I do agree with you there, that he's one of the rising stars, because he was sitting around bottom Prem for quite a long time, and yeah, he just kind of came to the top all of a sudden and grabbed a second place out of the thin air. Speaking of that as well, we have got Nubby on Soldier, which you mentioned before, who's in his Prem debut came 2nd place, which was an interesting feat in itself. And now that he's partnered up with Kunu and Gazi with the Scouts and Seeds, the best medic in Europe or in the world, as of late. So yeah, it's going to be exciting to see this team perform. It's always good to watch. But losing Everex and Adiski obviously played on the side of 7, who have gold medal specialists at this point. They've got more gold in their bloodstream than, I don't know, any other metal like iron or something. I don't know where I'm going with this. But yeah, he's incredible. But Seeds, I mean, he's not been playing, I don't think, as well as he's previously done. He's kind of been outshined by the likes of Classy, but he's still one of my favourite minutes to watch out of everyone. And also, talking of Nubby's Prem debut, we've also got Jeevan on the other side having a Prem debut. Actually doing insanely well. Always manages to find little bombs here, there, and everywhere. Yeah. And I really do appreciate watching him play.
Yeah. All right, so before we move on to the head-to-heads matchup, because we do have some interesting stats to look at, I feel like we need to do a little bit of house cleaning here. And this is, of course, the playoffs. And the way the playoffs work is that you have the number 3 play against the number 4 team. They play a best of 3, and then the winner of that moves on to play the number 2 team in the best of 3, and then the winner of that moves off to play the number 1 team Ascent for the grand finals. So that's how it's going to work here. So if you lose this match, this best of 3, you're out, you're gone, season's over, and you can start prepping for the next one.
Yep, I mean that's what it's all going to be coming down to. It's the team that can make it to Ascent. Ascent have been insanely dominant. No one's contested them at all. It's just kind of been a massive stomp. But having said that, we've seen flickers of hope from different teams. Like SVIFT had a few good runnings against them in the DreamHack Cup, and Feint also did really take it to them, take the fight to them. Actually, managing to get a couple comebacks against the side of Ascent, and doing pretty well there. But overall, losing it out. Ascent just too powerful. Tiger's just been fragging. Every time I watch that man, is just crack cocaine all the time. So if anyone can beat Ascent, it's probably going to be Feint, but that's not the matchup we're seeing today, of course.
Yeah.
SVIFT and the Bus Crew. I don't know if Bus Crew have what it takes to take down that team, but they definitely have what it takes to take down SVIFT.
I don't know if you remember last season, but basically, you know, there was this Nerd Rage team, which is now the SVIFT team, basically. It's very, very similar, but they actually, like last season, SVIFT was super dominant, basically the way Ascent is now, just through star power alone. And then Nerd Rage just kind of rose up, and all of a sudden they just murdered everyone in the playoffs. And we're kind of seeing the same sort of upward projection coming on here for SVIFT that we saw Nerd Rage do last season, which is the same team. So this is very interesting. Of course, the big difference is that Ascent are actually like scrimming, so we probably can't compare it completely, but it definitely does seem that it's just Kuno and Josh, they just kind of charge everyone up and become better and better as the season progresses, and then all of a sudden they just murder everyone. It's not exactly the same team, so maybe that whole thing doesn't work out the same way this season, but it's definitely something to keep in mind that SVIFT, they seem to just get better and better, and they actually beat Feint in both their warm-up matches here before we started. You can't read into it too much. It was like 3-2 and 3-1, so close, and it's a warm-up, so don't read into it too much. But they are very, very strong. But let's take a look at some head-to-heads. I'm thinking we take a look at the Scout head-to-heads, because we have Caper, kind of the new face in Prem, so to speak, and then we've got the Kunu, who's been around for quite a while and actually did win last season. So is there anything that pops out to you with these stats here, Lucky?
Yeah, the air shots, man. I've got to say. Couldn't get more air shots. To be fair, the one stat that really does jump out to me is damage taken per minute. I know that's a weird stat to go off, but Caper just seems to survive, man, like in a lot of weird scenarios. I mean, Kunu overall, less deaths on the board, yeah, 11 deaths on average versus Caper's 12, but that's only a 1 death difference. The difference being is that Caper is, he's flank scout, Kunu's pocket scout. It's a big little change up there, but it's the fact that Caper just stays alive all the time and will take these DM fights that you wouldn't necessarily normally take as a scout. Usually ends up winning most of those fights that he takes in 1v1s. This man does not need beam to get kills, okay? He just destroys everyone. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's really... He's super streaky in the way I've seen it. Like, sometimes he just murders everything and everyone. And like, if you just send 2 players down to kill him, he can actually just kill him sometimes. And it's just dumb. And he'll just dance around these rockets and survive for ages. Situations that he actually should not. And it's going to be really important that Kunu can actually hit him and just like clean him up before he can actually get dangerous, because scouts get really dangerous in these kind of scrappy situations where, there's only, everyone's reloading, everyone's like shooting projectiles and stuff, and it just gets kind of scrappy, and that's where Scout really shines. But if Kunu can actually manage to shut down Caper before it comes to that, then that can be really, really good and go a long way towards shutting him down. Of course, they might not always be in the same place.
Yeah, we have actually got both teams readying up in the server, so we are already heading into the live game. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Premiership Division quarterfinal of Season 37 for ETF2L between SVIFT and the Bus Crew. I'm Lucky, joined by Rahmed and Vita, as we are heading into this first mid-fight. A few stickies heading towards Martin. He does get chunked to half HP directly off the bat, but Josh going down, Deli and Caper also dying pretty much immediately. And it looks like the Bus Crew are going to be retreating out of this mid before it even really begins.
Yeah, Josh did a really good jump in there. Javen is still hiding in the drop down. I don't know if he's been spotted or not. I don't think so, but that was just all Josh there. just coming in here. Let's see, Jevin, he has this very crucial timing. He actually times it pretty well. Oh, just a bit too late there. Only gets one rocket off the seeds there. So unfortunately, a pretty nice attempt here. So everyone's going to just move back into last, but the mid was completely won there by Josh, just immediately jumping onto Delhi. I don't think they were expecting him to be that aggressive, but he just took him down and immediately just won them so much presence on that midpoint, because you do need the demo man on Gully mid.
Looks like they're rotating the heels in towards River. They've set the scout underneath. He's going to get some cap pressure down as this Uber's about to come in. They get quite a lot of cap down. Nubby is currently on top of the point there. Kills Warp.
Josh
while
is
on
in secret.
It to even trade as well. And Josh, yeah, like you mentioned, in secret gets Caper and Adelos. And that is going to just finish out the cap there. No need to even use the Uber, as Martin actually found his Uber eventually.
He had it the entire time. Like, both teams had it. It was just so much pressure on the point that everyone just got picked off one by one, and Martin never found a good time to actually use his Uber. He just never thought it was worth it, but eventually he was just completely alone, couldn't get onto the point, and just used on nothing. Goes in the logs, I guess, but great pressure there from Swift.
Yeah, really, really good. Jeevan there bombing in super deep early on, but Nubby doing the same thing in towards Martin. Nastboy actually receiving an arrow from Seeds, so all that pressure from Jeevan actually totally nullified. Jeevan down to 1 HP, does manage to get away there. Looks like the bus crew really struggled to get out on this mid, just getting boxed in big door by the bomb from Nubby.
I was very curious. Once again, the story is really all about Delhi. I think he kind of found himself in Valley pretty weak, just waiting for heals, and everyone just kind of clustered around it. Both soldiers stood around, didn't really go aggressive at all, and they just eventually got just slowly taken out. There's only one soldier that jumped up into choke there. I think that was Jevin, and try and see if we can get some sort of presence going on. We actually got Nubby on Spy. He's actually made his way in here. Very interesting. This is not a normal situation to go Spy, so I don't think they expect this at all.
Yeah, I don't feel like this is something you're going to be able to call. They have got bird scouts on the rock. Nubby is going to have to do some kind of nutty decloak. I bet what we're going to see here is some pressure towards Choke, who's actually all moving up the hills now. Nasa's going to walk forwards and just spam aggressively to get him forwards, and he's going in for the stab. He whiffs it and gets spotted, unfortunately, there on for Nubby. And that could have been so good, but Martin had a little weird sidestep and he drops the GG in
That was
chat.
just tragic. It was perfect play there from Swift, but you know, sometimes as a Spy, the medic just doesn't like move the way you want them to. They're going to put some pressure into big door. They do manage to coax the soldier away. I think they're just getting ready for this big Jevin bomb in here. Here it comes. Gets onto the medic pretty well, but great serve there by CG. Nice cleanup by everyone else. And that's going to be that for that kind of pressure. Everyone else moves back from the bus crew. They're going to be setting up in the same position. We see the demo man holding big door and the soldier holding choke here. So both teams kind of lose a player there, and then they just go back. But Swift, they're going to do some more pressure here in big door.
Yeah, it looks like they're sending Gazian behind. This is a typical play that they seem to do time and time again when they play Gully Watch. We've saw it a lot throughout the season. They just send one player in behind. They've now got Nubby in behind as well, so that's the two that they wanted. And now they can cut off Jeevan. So Jeevan's way back into the team is actually cut off by a scout and soldier combo. They know they're in there, but there's not a lot they can do without losing players if they send them in to deal with this soldier scout combo. It's a difficult thing to play against. We're going to see how they want to react here. And it looks like their reaction is to send Caper and Warped aggressive in choke as Josh leaps through the choke point. Martin actually drops there.
Wow.
Nice block from Nubby, just gets him from the top. An easy drop there as too many players rotated out and they couldn't defend him.
There's a small hit here. Josh got pushed back. He was the only one holding choke, and actually there's a scout in behind. So Caper has moved his way into choke. So he's now behind while everyone is pushing in through a big door here. So they need to hold out for him. And Caesar's actually popped here, gets popped by Jevin. And that's going to mean that Caper doesn't really need to do anything. So he's just going to waddle back to last as fast as he can. Gets back there, takes a little bit of damage. But that's a small hit in the plan. So nice little salvage there, getting that force onto seat. Really important play from Jevin. But overall, man, this is not a good game for Martin so far. He's popped on no one, and then he's dropped an Uber. So
he's having a rough time, yeah.
Yeah.
So they've opted for Caper on this Pyro class as well, and they've got Adelos on the Engineer, so looking to put that Sentry Gun up to a level 3 before any pressure comes in. They are managing to set it up pretty successfully, very little pressure onto it, so they're going to see if they want to move it into a spot that they think is preferable, moving it towards this left-hand side, just for a little bit of better coverage across the way. Delhi's also placed some traps in that little room in lockers, so could catch someone. Nubby going in for the bomb here, they're going in dual bomb, and they're sending pressure to the point here, but it looks like the Sentry Gun does quite a lot of work there. Tons of cap time down, but they do find all 3 players that went for the sack, but they do lose 2 in a trade.
Yeah, indeed. It's a good thing that they actually did manage to get 2 players. I really do love these very aggressive sacks in here on Gully Watch. You can see how much time actually got taken off of the point. They got halfway cap. So if you're just super focused on denying both soldiers, which you do need to focus a lot on to stop 2 soldiers from getting onto your medic. Then the scout can just cap it out. So it's very difficult to actually stop it properly. Both soldiers are back now, and just the fact that they managed to get those 2 picks is so crucial, because that means that they can't really get counter-aggressed on, and they can just take it easy, go back, take it slow, and they can kind of try again. But Delhi's prepared this time around, had a sneaky trap there in water, takes down Gazi. So maybe we're going to see a bit of a counter sack coming out here. Maybe a soldier can find the window.
He's going in. He's already in through lower. He hasn't been spotted yet, but Seeds, he's on it. He's got the positioning. It's so hard to sack onto a medic when he's on the back of the point on second, because they've got to work through all those players in front of them through 2 shutter doors and then walk through a big door, and that's kind of difficult to do. So Jeevan, backing off, realises Seeds is in a decent position and will just opt to not go for it. In fact, going to move back to his team, just get buffed up. And we're going to see what they want to do here on the side of SVIFT. Maybe just going to opt for the same thing again. One thing we have seen as well is that Kunu just likes to run through main, run into secret, and then just jump on the point alongside Gazi, and then they end up capping out from under them. Gazi actually on the Pyro here, so we're seeing the Pyro thing, strat that they come out with, where they just air blast people off the point, and Warped already feeling that pressure. He's just going to be walking up towards the point. They find Caper.
There's a soldier as well.
Off the point. The Sticky's getting placed as well. The Uber gets popped from Martin just to defend it as they find all those frags, but Siege didn't need to use a tool. Great coordination there from the side of SVIFT.
They're not quite out of the woods yet, though. There are only 2 players alive. This can be very difficult to actually hold on to the point. You see they're retreating desperately out through choke and just waiting for those respawners. They might decide to use the Uber to come out here and block, but they could also just do a normal push a little bit later on. Looks like they are going to make it out here, and they are actually going to get the force, or as in force them out of the point, not being able to, or being forced out of using their Uber. So really important play. Great Uber force in the end there. It's a very dangerous situation to only have 2 players alive. But hey, they get this Uber now.
Yeah, they're heading in with a 2-man Uber here, but they've also got Gazi, who's deep in behind. Warped has managed to find his way in. Nubby actually goes down. Warped and Aidloss getting cleaned up eventually here. And looks like Caper's all out on his lonesome here, getting fired out by 3 players. Naspo moving towards the point. Javen's the only one left that can deal with these players, and can't quite do it. And that's going to be 2-1 to the side of SVIFT. Pretty convincing there. A very nice play.
Very, very clinical. Like, as soon as they actually managed to get out without losing their Uber, that was just all they needed. It's kind of crazy how these 4-man sacks are working. You know, that's going to fill you with a lot of confidence in SVIFT when you know that you can actually get away with losing 4 players for an Uber sack and not get punished for it. That makes you feel real powerful.
So the next mid-fight is happening. Delhi already pretty pressured, but doing a lot better on this side, and Martin actually not taking any damage with Jeevan. Going in deep in lower, just gets cleaned up pretty much immediately, and they just leave off the bat after losing 1 player early on. They don't want to take that fight against SVIFT, and looks like they're already rotating on the side of SVIFT, looking like they want to try and get some moves going. Nubby's moving in towards Big Door already.
They've been bullied out 3 mids in a row now. It's kind of crazy. I mean, at least this time it wasn't Delhi going down, so it'll be a lot more difficult for Josh to get in. He tries. Nubby comes in as well. Actually gets Martin again. Oh my god, this is just
beautiful.
Brutal.
Absolutely amazing play from Nubby. Nice little skip jump through and actually lands the direct, so very nicely played. Delhi actually going down the choke there, just gets destroyed by Nas. Aidloss running in towards Siege, but Siege just been moving back and eventually pops out this Uber. Potentially could have survived 1 more shot there, but doesn't want to risk anything and just uses that Uber out. No one went back from Martin either, so Siege in fact has a very, very, very small Uber ad. In fact, it's like 1% ad or something. But they're moving in towards second now. Going to be capping that one out as there are players respawning on the side of the bus crew, but they don't want to let this pressure up. They want to make sure that sentry gun does not get built.
Yep, the spawners are only now just coming in here, so they have a small while they have a lot of presence going on here. And here we go. They're actually going to see if they can get onto the demo. And they actually put a scout onto the point while all that was going on. And just the pressure so far from SVIFT is just so brutal to witness. Like, every single mid so far have just been them bullying them out without getting that many kills. They're just so powerful and just so aggressive with the way they just force people up through chokes. And they're just so unrelenting once they get the tiniest of advantages. That was a 2-man advantage. The spawners came out a little bit late, and just the scout was on the point and they didn't get there in time. So it's going to be 3-0 for SVIFT.
They're heavy pressure once again into this demo man. Josh going in super deep. Nubby going in deep as well. Huge damage from the soldiers. They've got so much work done. But Jeevan bombing off his own nice 2 direct onto Nas there. Actually going down for his trouble. So it looks like the bus crew have now got what it takes to come across this point as they found those 2 soldiers and the demo man pick. And they're already heading in towards second with Aidloss and Delhi going to be sticking off that shutter. But Gaz taking the high ground for his team. Wants to try and maybe defend this one out as Kunu's rotating up top with Seeds, taking those heals up. Martin just playing passive by choke as his soldiers coming for respawners.
Yeah, they don't want to give up this second point, but hey, Buzzcrew, they got a mid. This time around, the soldier aggression didn't really work out too well for Swift. They got a single kill, but it wasn't on the demo man who they were really targeting in that situation. So great job by Dale to stay alive. He actually won the mid for his team there. So really good progress here for Buzzcrew. They now get to this midpoint and now see what they can do in this big door. We saw already that the scout and soldier was sent behind before. Let's see if Buzzcrews elect to do something different, or if they just think that that's the meta strat you should use.
They're going to be heading with Jeevan towards Big Door. It looks like they want to do the same thing that Swift did to them. They want to get... They've got the heals on the ground currently, which means they kind of want to play towards this Big Door side, because otherwise you'd have the heals up top.
Yeah.
And try and get them in behind. But Martin now, we're going to be racing towards that choke. They know the demo man is just holding and watching Big Door, so they might try and send someone through choke, but Kunu waiting there. Now, I've got to say, this hold from Swift is a lot stronger than the one the Buzzcrew was showing, and Siege just going to be sitting back by the point is... a pretty defensive position to be in, but Whoop sees the opportunity as Siege is rotating. But Siege with a nice little surge. Oh, he drops him! Whoop shoots the wall, pings him into the dirt, and Siege drops. A very rare occurrence.
His knees just buckled. He got so much speed from that. It was like a headshot rocket, basically. He was shot into the ground and his little leg just couldn't carry the weight, and he drops. So we have a lot of drops so far this game. Martin have been the real victim so far, but hey, now Sheets joined the club. He knows how it feels. And now Martin, he has this full Uber advantage that they can push into last year.
Yeah, it looks like they're heading directly in. Seeds hasn't got anyone on the beam. The sentry gun has been built. The Sticky's on the point. Two players playing in water. It's Nasty Nubby. Kunu be walking out the shutter right now with a full heal. And they do get on top of that. Demo Man taken down immediately. Gazzy on the Pyroclast is pretty immortal with that buff. Fighting up against Caper and they take him down. I can't help but feel that that push was a little bit rushed.
Yeah, they could have definitely used a few more players and coming in at the exact same time. Maybe put some pressure onto the point while that was all happening. Usually what makes Swift pushes work is that they put pressure in a lot of different areas at the same time. Whereas this was a pretty kind of mono-focused push where they just only focused on the point or only focused on the kills in one part of the point at the same time. And they just didn't quite have the focus fire in the direction and just the overall pressure to really make that work. That's going to be a hold here. Actually just going to Uber in very aggressively here. Just basically do it blindly. They will catch in the demo man, but not the medic.
I mean, catching a demo man is a pretty good pick to find here. They're going to be moving directly through choke with that demo pick, but both soldiers still alive, so the pressure could still be there if they manage to get the spam down enough while Deli is on his respawner, as they do get that cap through, denying Deli his forward spawn. And it looks like they're doing exactly that. They're just bringing the hills close towards the choke. Martin actually has that Uberad now, where Seeds decide to pop through Big Door, so they're going to be pressuring super hard towards the choke, and looking like they want to do something here. Aidlos just receiving quite a lot of beam, as he's going to be wandering in here. Josh holding super close though, wants to get that force off, but they're playing this nice and slow on the side of the bus crew, more than happy to just take their chances.
Run in. Caper's in deep. He's in banana right now, and he's somehow not dead. All right, they do get the force out right now, and they kind of just waited for the demo man to get in there. The big problem for the bus crew in that situation was that when you have this kind of Uber event, you want to jump in your demo man to lock off their escape, but the demo man was dead, so they couldn't do that. And Swift knew that. They played that really well. Caper is going to try to run in, but he misses a jump, so he's going to just run back out again. And now it's going to be the opposite way. It's going to be Swift with the Uber advantage, but they do have a demo man to jump in if they really want to.
Yeah, nicely done from Seeds there, just not using on that mid. He really just avoided all of the damage coming his way. Two stickies on the ground. Are going to get cleaned up there as Nubby actually finds the pick onto Deli, which is a massive pick you've got here since they have that 40% Uber advantage. Looks like they're going to be going through main directly. Kunis get Ubered in, and looks like we've got some time already. Martin going down pretty much immediately here, which is a very unfortunate. No heals for the side of the bus crew as they're making their way towards this point. Whoop desperately trying to defend it. Aidlos tries to get to it, but Gandhi with the meat shots taken down. He's going to secure that point. 4-0 now for the side of the bus crew in a very dominating time of 15 minutes.
You can really see just the focus on Swift. I could just hear Josh's voice booming throughout the server there as Kunu just started ignoring players and just immediately going on to the point as soon as they realized no one was on it. Like, it's just so fast and so clinical the way that they're playing right now. And there's a lot of factors going into it, but I think some really good calls are definitely part of it.
You've got a dual bomb coming in towards Big Door. Nubby just locking Martin out, but Martin cleverly avoiding the damage by jumping over the rockets. And Josh super weak in this elbow here, bombing both soldiers and losing Gazzy. So they're going to be heading in towards this second point on the side of the bus crew, already making their way in. Warp actually going down there for overextending, trying to get onto the seats. But I believe that was the good play to make, since there are currently 3 down on the side of SVIFT.
Yeah, that makes sense. And actually, the second time in a row that this soldier bomb just does very little of what they want to do. I actually think it was even worse this time. I don't think either soldier got a kill. They just both got overwhelmed by the scout as they tried to bomb in onto the medic and the demo man. Not really what you want to see here. It's very aggressive bomb out coming out from Nubby, and didn't really manage to get anything because he got body blocked there. Not gonna die for it though, so that's something. Both medics have this Uber, and SVIFT, they're definitely in this situation now where they can just slow it down, take it easy. There's 14 minutes on the clock. If they can run down 9 minutes off of it, they're going to be completely happy, because at that point they basically can't lose the match. So yes, Caper's in the water right now.
Oh no. They lose Delhi and they lose Caper in the river. Gazzy there with the pressure actually reflected a pipe into Delhi and caused his ultimate demise with Josh bombing in to clean him up. And looks like they're going to be moving in towards second here. There's lots of space to be taken. Jeevan gets air shot there and taken down with the scatter gun of Kunu, and they're going to be retreating back in towards mid here as they catch their forward spawners, which is just what they needed. They've still got Gazzy on last, so a push into mid with one being dead is unlikely, but more than likely to see some kind of sack attempt coming out in the next couple seconds. Yeah,
they definitely could have been more brave there, gone even further forward, but just the fact that they left someone on last, they were just playing it safe here. I definitely feel like they know the situation, and they're just playing for the fact that they're up 4-0. So maybe in a different situation they would have pushed into mid there and tried to gain a bunch of space for free. But as it is right now, they don't really need to. That holding really far back just kind of surprises me. You can see he's just like, nah, I don't want to be close to them. The soldiers in there, that joke.
Looks like they are more than happy to chill out. And even actually going down there, taking a 1v1 with Nubby and Big Door alongside Josh. Doesn't quite win that one out. And they're going to be moving the hills in towards Big Door now. Nubby's getting buffed up. I think he's just going to try and go for a cheeky bomb behind. But Caper, currently on that high ground in a very aggressive spot to deny bombs, just can jump forward, meet shot soldier, and get flung back into Big Door. So not a big deal, and realizing that is going to happen to them. They're going to rotate all the way back to choke. But by this point, Jeevan's caught his respawner, and any aggression they could have found has been stymied entirely. So back into another stalemate, but I think SVIFT are more than happy with this 4-0 lead to just play the clock, as Caper actually gets dealt on running in towards the Big Door, and Nas picking up that easy peasy frag for the logs.
Yeah, I kind of like this whole demo man holding Big Door situation that we've got going on, because it does shut down scouts and soldiers running behind through Big Door in a very different way. We actually got the soldier bomb in here, misses the first one. Ooh, that was a bad jump in there from Nubby. Not his usual fare. So he's going to be down now. Caper's actually gone on sniper, so probably not going to see a counter sack the way you normally would have seen with 2 soldiers up. But hey, well, there are 2 soldiers, sorry, but without an off class going on. So yeah, a little bit slower than we normally would have seen. But Caper, he's going to position himself here into this Big Door, and his team, they have a lot of space right now to work with.
Seeds is sitting in the corner. He doesn't care. He's just chilling out against the sheet metal. There's no way that he can get shot when he's standing in this position. They can't shoot him in the foot or in the arm, so nothing they can really do. What they can do, however, is they can potentially spam him if they get the right angle, and they can pressure the rest of the players, because the heals aren't going to be forwards, and that's precisely what they're doing. They're just finding everyone else who is not the medic right now, as they're finding Nubby. Jeevan actually wins that one out, surprisingly, in an unfavorable position. But he is going to be picking up some packs here and around the last point. Gazzy going forwards now in towards Delhi, gets pounded and goes down. Nasboy gets body shot, and Seeds, like I mentioned, still stuck in the corner, just uses to save his own life. Martin actually uses that his Uber as well. Does have to flash twice, which means that Seeds is actually going to have a pretty reasonable Uber in comparison to the red one, as it now fades. Kunu not taking a single point of damage, and Seeds actually dropping down to the low ground very wisely to avoid the rest of the damage coming in. Josh going down. They secure this second point very easily on the side of the bus crew overall.
Actually a pretty good salvage from SVIFT there, because it just really spiraled out of control after they lost that roamer on the flank. All of a sudden everything just spiraled so badly, and they were down 3-1, and they had the medic caught in a corner with the sniper looking at him, so he actually just had to pop instantly to actually run away to last. And that's the only thing they did. They literally just used the Uber to get the medic back to last and not have him die. And that's not how you want to use your Ubers, but hey, sometimes you have to. And now we've got Caper here in this river, actually jumping in both soldiers. Very aggressive. Gazzy contributing as well with the flare gun. That
You
was
love to see it, man. You love to see the flare gun in sixes. A lot of pyros opt for the shotgun after the detonator and the scorch have been taken out of the equation, but the flare gun, the 90 damage crit is actually really significant against scouts and bouncing players around, so love to see it out of Gazzy. As the bomb comes in from Nubby and towards Martin, and does get that force out as Nubby just kills himself against the wall, but they do find 2 picks, which is exactly what you want when you get force. Actually, they find 3 players, ignore me, and Seeds actually manages to keep his Uber, but Deli is right above his head. If he shoots down, we'll see him. Seeds getting bounced around, does get piped, but Seeds uses, he drops 1 player, only has Gazzy left to heal. We have got 3 respawners coming in, every single one of them is crit heal, so they are going to have a health advantage on the side of SVIFT, just moving forwards now. Deli's super weak, gets taken down by Kuno. Jeevan is still in. Jeevan finds 2 towards the point actually there, and he actually gets arrowed up by Martin as well. Taking a 1-1 Kuno, arrowed again, but Jeevan has no ammo and actually goes down holding his pickaxe. Martin's going to get chased down towards Big Door, but Aidlos with the respawn are going to be helping out his medic. Moving in towards that Big Door area. Josh is going to be heading out as well, just to lock down that Big Door as they are going to take this point.
That pushing onto last was a bit too aggressive there with the 3 spawners that you talked about. There's just too much here, but looks like they're not done pushing yet, possibly. They know they're down 4, so they need to just do these pushes, so they're just forcing their way into choke.
Oh no, Gazzy is on top of Martin. Loads of damage into Martin's face, and it looks like they all go down here. That's a really nice collapse from the side of SVIFT. Now they just need to keep Seed safe. And Nasboy overextending a tiny amount there, nearly dies to Jeevan. Caper actually in elbow, they know who's there, and he's going to be taking a 1v1 with Nubby in towards Big Door. Looks like Caper's going to win this one. He's moving forwards, and he actually does win that one. Caper, amazing deathmatch ability.
Yeah, once again, not going to be able to take down the 2 scouts that flanked him from behind, though. Not a big surprise there. Yeah, you can definitely see possibly they're kind of forcing the issue right now. They know that they have to do this, and it's not a good position to be in because SVIFT, you know, they know it as well that this is going to happen, so they can just play these chokes really closely and just really clamp down on him. There's a soldier up on this high ground. He has been spotted. Javen, yep, it's actually going to go for it. He tried, but everyone obviously saw him coming from a mile away, or however up high that was.
Yeah, so I don't know if he would have been able to escape either. They had soldiers ready to pounce on him as soon as he moved back, but they're heading in towards lobby already. All players are buffed, and they're heading in. They do pop out that Uber straight away, heading towards that Sentry Gun Pyro combo, and it looks like they are getting Nubby towards that point. Warped goes down. They haven't actually, they've got Deli behind the point, but that's about it in terms of defense. Caper up on the heavy, but is not going to be overhealed, so he's kind of a little bit useless. Getting focused down here, goes down. Aidlos is too weak to fight, and it looks like Jeevan's getting focused outside the point. Deli's now getting crushed upon. Martin pops out his Uber, but only has a Pyro to use it on, and chasing down the Pyro is not very good at all, and the collapse is coming in 3, 2, 1, and these players are all heading in on top of Aidlos. Take down Warped, get on top of that medic, and cap out that point, making it 5-0 for the side of SVIFT. GG has been called.
That is so clean. Like, SVIFT failed to dislodge the demo man from under the point there, and then the Uber came out, and it just didn't matter. Their coordination was just so damn good. And like, just the fact that they were able to just retreat in there, out of there once the Uber came in, and then they just perfectly just murdered everyone as before this respawners came in. It's just absolutely beautiful play. And SVIFT, they're up 5-0. They won this map, and it was not even close. They are looking so strong, exactly like what happened last season. I don't know what it is about the playoffs, but apparently, you know, something happened to Kuno when playoffs start.
Yeah, it looks like they've just sort of got their act together. I mean, Josh, we know he's a hell of a main caller. We know he has what it takes. He is basically single-handedly carried with comms through that last season when Nerd Rage took it, and the entire team said it. That man was just absolutely nuclear, really performed in this game as well. But Nubby, I have to say, really good showing in this game for Nubby. He managed to get all the bombs that he needed. He did die a lot. He died 17 times, which is the most in the server. But every time he bombed, he got something out of it, like space on mid, or it was just sacking into the medic and get a force or drop, and he just played well throughout the game and actually managed to receive the top damage in the server for his efforts.
All right, I want to play a game here. You have to guess. You can't check. All right, don't click anything on the logs. Okay. What do you think Kunu's accuracy was in this game?
I want to say, since you're making me 85.
The correct answer is 91% accuracy. That's nuts. That's really, really, really high. I think the second highest in the server was like 75, which is normal. That's good.
Absolutely insane is what that is. That's nuts. to get that accuracy, wow. That's pretty insane. But another point I need to point out as well is that even though this was a roll, it was 5-0, and the death difference in medics was 5. So that just is what it is for medics, I'm afraid. They got relatively even Ubers. They both dropped once. It was a relatively even terms for the medic. I just feel like that it just came down to muscling through in deathmatching situations where they managed to just get better coordination, a distraction here and a push there, just out of different places at the same time, and just being super coordinated on the comms. It's very clear that they had a game plan in everything that they were doing, and it really shows that this was Swift's map pick, and that they've been practicing it time and time again. So it's Swift here, looking very dominant in this first game, but we're going to see if Swift, the Bus Crew even have what it takes on their map pick since they picked a Process Beta.
Yeah, Process is a bit of a different beast. I feel like everything is just kind of slower on Process than it is on Gollywash. Like you can rotate really fast on Gollywash, you can execute pushes really fast, you can do all these things that like are really high pressure where you're very close to your opponent. So if they like don't realize something is happening, they're just gonna take like 190 damage in no time at all. Whereas on Process, you kind of see what's happening. It unfolds a little bit slower. So maybe that means that Bus Crew can kind of prepare for what's coming. And you can't really execute these kind of same set plays that we saw Swift do a lot. I really feel like, you know, the 2 soldier sack with the scout in the water, the pyro and the soldier in the water, it all felt very, very coordinated and well planned out in advance. And it just worked out super, super well for Swift. Whereas I feel like you can obviously do the same thing for Process. You can do that on every map. But I feel like it's more difficult to make work on a more like long range distant map where you can see much more what's coming.
Yeah, I think the one thing that we're going to see a lot more of is we're going to see some more sniper gameplay out of Caper, I think. He's a very capable sniper, and I enjoy watching him do it. He, like we saw on when they made that push in towards Big Door, the amount of respect that Seeds had for that Caper sniper, forcing his entire team into a situation where they're not going to be buffed if they were taking any fights. And they knew it was going to happen as well. There was no counter sniper on the side of Swift, so maybe it's something they're going to abuse coming into the next game. So we're going to see what happens with those long sightlines that you mentioned. But another thing that I have to mention as well is that we have got some pretty relevant jumpers, I want to say, in this server. Namely Nubby and his ability to use a certain spoon weapon that deals 195 damage.
Yeah, I would recommend just like craning your neck back and watching this guy the entire time. Not to look at the birds, but to look at like the spoon monsters that might be rolling down your neck at any time. Because, yeah, this is the map where you can just do crazy, you know, ramp slides and end up in the skybox super, super easily and have all the speed in the entire world.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that Jeevan is one that uses the Market Gardener. He's more of an escape plan guy. He likes to just go wild on people with that escape plan when he gets weak and just juke people. So, but we do know Nubby is just like, he will commit super hard on anything that he wants to do. He doesn't really do these fake bombs very often. He is usually the one that has to commit for the bomb when you see, you usually see one player doing the fake bomb and one player committing, and that one player is Nubby. And another point to mention as well is that we've got 2 capable snipers as well on the side of Swift. We have got, of course, Kunu, renowned for his sniper ability. We didn't see it very much, actually. I 100% thought that they could have run this man full-time sniper with 2 soldiers and just destroyed every single team they went up against on product week. That's how good Kunu is.
Yeah, I watched a bit of the warm-up against Feint, and Kunu actually played a bit of sniper on the... I think he like pushed out of last or maybe second or something as sniper, and he just kind of stayed on it and got like the casual 7k or whatever on sniper. So, you know, he's just kind of turned on, and, you know, whenever you got a guy having 90 LG, you might as well just put him on sniper, right? Because is there anything more terrifying in this game than a sniper that's hitting everything?
No, is the answer to that question. Moving on. Maybe other than
maybe a fully healed heavy, maybe.
Maybe yes, or when you walk around a corner and you see a pyro halfway through a Phlogistinator taunt, and he's going to be critzing you any second.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty terrifying.
But outside of those things, nothing scarier in the game.
Yes. No, that's what I believe. But in this game, what do you reckon for scorelines? Any predictions?
I'm gonna go with maybe 4-1 or something. I think it's gonna slow down quite a bit, and I think
to the side of Swift.
Yeah, to the side of Swift. I think Busker's gonna get around, and it's gonna be quite a lot closer. But I do think that Swift will pull it out pretty comfortably.
Yeah, I do have a lot of faith in the Bus Crew. I feel like they're a good team, but I don't feel like this is gonna be their game to take, but I have faith in their pick. It's their pick. It's process. So I'm actually gonna say 3-2 to the side of Bus Crew, and they're gonna take it into Metalworks and get smacked around by SVIFT. That's what I reckon is gonna happen. But I do feel like the Bus Crew after the season, if they do stay together, they could have a really, really good showing in the next season. So we'll see what happens of that, but. Yeah, I'm super excited for this game overall. So if you have just joined us, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ETF2L Season 37 Premiership quarterfinals between SVIFT and the Bus Crew. I'm lucky joined by Beta and Rahmed on the camera, and SVIFT have just taken map 1. So yeah, looking forward to getting it going. And one other thing I'm going to shout out before this game begins, because we've got a little bit of time here. Neither team's actually readied up. So this weekend, we've actually got a community charity thing run by Critscast, which is going to be pretty good, supporting the Special Effects charity. So head over to that channel when you get a chance over the weekend for some good TF2 action. It's going to be some YouTuber stuff, some NA stuff, and a bit of EU stuff here and there. So it's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, and just to update everyone as well, if Bus Crew loses this map, they're out of the playoffs. The winner of this map, like if SVIFT wins it, they move on to face Feint in the next round. So this is all to do for it. And also, the thing that I'm going to keep my eyes on immediately going into these first mid is what's going to happen to Delhi on these, because you know Nobby is going to be able to just jump in there and immediately take him down, right? It's going to be so damn deadly. Maybe we might even see Kunu just go snipe at a mid. He's kind of just fragging out in the pregame, and you can tell his aim is just on fire right now.
I mean, if you're feeling it, you're feeling it. And Nubby's already warming up with the meme spoon as well.
I mean, that's not unusual. He does that in every pregame.
No, it's terrifying. I'm pretty sure he's using the escape plan last game and wasn't using the meme spoon. I feel like he pulls it out on specific maps. I don't feel like Gully Wash is as good of a meme spoon map as Process and Sunshine are, but... yeah. I'm excited to see what they can pull out of this game. I'm ready for some hype moments. I'm noticing as well that both medics opting to use the Solemn Vow. Pretty. How do you feel about this unlock coming into the season? How it's affected the gameplay so far?
I kind of hate it. I think it's the best unlock by far. Just the way that you can just perfectly tell what everyone's health is just so powerful, and I feel just inherently any kind of passive buff to you that you can just use without having to switch to it and do something active with it. I feel like that's going to be better than something that's situationally powerful any day of the week, right? Like the gunbows are always better, or they're like better than the shotgun, even though the shotgun is sometimes better than the gunbows, right? But the gunbows just passively gives you an advantage, and I feel like the Solomon does the same thing, and I hate it because it's not an exciting unlock. So ban it.
That's why I still use the Ubersaw, because I think it's broken. Anyway, we are actually going live, ladies and gentlemen, so welcome to this quarterfinal game. If SVIFT win this one out, they are moving on to the next round. If the Bus Crew lose this game, then they are out. We're going to see if they can make it happen. But bombing 2 soldiers early on onto Warp's face. Looks like they're going to be taking a right side, middle side of Bus Crew, whereas Nass is going to be walking directly across this point. Seed's actually eating a pipe early on there. It's going to be moving back, but Warps is going to be the first one to fall to Gazzy as he pushes him in the choke. Jeevan bombing in towards Seeds, does find that pick onto him, and they are immediately out of mid. They just want to keep Martin alive. It looks like they're already trying to get this collapse going. Nubby's made his way back in towards the lobby. Gazzy's in through IT. Josh is bombing in pretty prematurely here, as they are bombing a demo directly in towards Martin as well. Martin with the jukes, though. Very well played from him so far, but gets bombed on by Nubby. Can't quite survive that onslaught.
Yeah, that was 4 players just gunning for him, man. That's very difficult to survive, and he's not going to be able to do that. It would have taken a small miracle, but it started out really well for SVIFT there on that mid. Like Gazzy just won his team that mid by just pushing super aggressively into choke. There's just a single soldier there hiding, and it's very unusual to see a scout from the enemy team pushing into your choke. But Gazzy made it work that he saw an opening, but then losing just their own medic there completely changed everything. And now Seed's actually going to move in with the rest of the team. Very aggressive push it from SVIFT.
Yeah, looks like they do want to contest this mid. Warp bombing in super deep, does land on top of that pack there and yonking out from under their feet, but still goes down for his troubles here. Josh is going to be pushing towards that choke. Ends up on the point there, but Capo moving forwards greedily for that frag. and Gazzy takes him out, and Adelos and Jeevan now a bit far forward without the support of the rest of the remaining players. Adelos getting taken out for that. Deli still in this fight. Martin now with Jeevan alone, while the rest of SVIFT going to be moving it. Oh, Jeevan! Nice air shot onto Josh there to take him down, bombing in towards his medic. And it looks like Jeevan still fighting in lobby. He manages to annihilate Kunu there. Kunu actually getting cleaned up by Caper in that second point here. And those frags could lend their way to the side of the bus crew if they want to make a repush happen.
Yeah, Josh is being very aggressive here by taking this down. Maybe that's... yeah, he's just going to try and bomb in here, but bus crew, they are in. They are taking this fight. They don't want to give up this second point, and they have succeeded so far. They've completely isolated Seeds here. He's alone with the scout. Demo Man was not in the fight at all. They're going to have to flash a whole lot, but they're getting the kills. Martin's not going to be able to get out alive. And all of a sudden, it's just turned around so heavily in the favor of SVIFT that they're going to be able to just push in here onto last with a massive man advantage.
Yeah, Nubby actually managed to make it land behind and get that force on rollout, and now they're just on last, stacking that point. And there's going to be a cap there. So Nubby with the play onto Martin to get that force, to force them to have a really bad Uber trade, is going to make sure that they cap out that round. And now it's coming into the next mid. Currently 1-0 to SVIFT. Already in the driving seat, 3 minutes in. It's the speed that we were expecting coming into process. No medium spoons just yet, Beta, but looks like we're heading into our next mid.
Did you not see the first mid? Nubby would immediately in here, and he is in again. Oh my god, he gets air shot, doesn't die. That's frustrating.
Somehow survives there. Is going to get arrowed up by Seeds and get a pack as well simultaneously. Josh getting taken down though. Jeevan's going to go back for an arrow. Does receive one. Whoops, now moving forwards. Both scouts in. Nobody's going on top of Martin. Nice direct to take him down. And Seeds does survive heading back into towards second.
That was perfectly timed there by Nubby. He very clearly had managed to sneak his way in there. They didn't realize he was on that side of the crates. So Martin didn't time that at all. He wasn't dodging or anything. So he was just mid-jump when he saw Nubby, and there was nothing he could do about it. So great play from Nubby solving that. He got owned early on in the mid, but then all of a sudden, hey, he's just gonna go in there and kill their med. So it's just gonna be all on Javen. Can Javen get this big force out here of Seeds? He's gonna try. Hasn't even found him yet, really. Oh, actually gets him that support. Get down, Mr. President.
He whiffed his jump. He tried to C-tap but just failed. just ended up on Nasboy, shot him in the face, and that was it. That was pretty funny to watch. Anyway, looks like they're still wanting to go forwards without Nas on this Uber, bringing it into IT, which is kind of where you want to go if you're going with that demo. This upper IT area does lend itself to soldier gameplay, but seems to be walking in here. He did not baiting whatsoever, just walks through the spam, but takes very little damage for it. Yeah, capering behind, like you just mentioned.
Oh, he's going to
Nasboy. Uh-oh.
He just took this medkit from Nasboy as well. Oh, Nasboy kind of got lucky there. Oh my god, everyone just coming to his rescue. Everyone. Alright, eventually Cape was going to go down, and no one from Bus Crew was really pushing forward. I don't think they expected literally the entirety of SVIFT to just go back for Caper. But hey, they did, and again, they're not getting punished for it.
Looks like they're heading in already in towards this last point. The level 2 gun has been built by Adelos. Josh already jumping on top of it though, distracting its gaze for the time being like the Eye of Sauron death beam that it is. And they actually run on top of Deli and take him down there. Loads of frags for the side of the bus crew, but looks like Seed is going to be escaping out towards Choke with Nubby. Beautiful. On top of Martin. Martin drops. Oh, that's so unfortunate there. That rocket looks so janky.
Caesar's gonna get forced as well though by Jevin. He was just running away alone. That was a very unusual play, just sending in your roamer to just take down the medic like that while your medic runs away alone with Uber. But hey, it worked out really well. Unbelievably. Martin's gonna drop once again. This is recap for sure. And sees he is gonna have the slightest of Uber advantages right now. He's definitely seen SVIFT push on less. So I wouldn't be too surprised if they actually go for it here. But again, this is process. It's a little bit harder to use it. You kind of have to jump in the demo man super aggressively to catch out the medic. You can see he's kind of hiding in that bunker for most of the time. Maybe he's even hiding in spawn sometimes. You don't know, obviously. So SVIFT, they're going to have to take stock of it, get a lot of information before they push, I think. And then they're just going to have to pop immediately if they actually want to use the super advantage. But it looks like they're actually going to go into lobby here. So first part of the plan that I laid out is definitely coming together.
They're just going to be clearing traps. They haven't checked for a sentry gun or anything here, and they're just going to be bombing directly in. Nasboy actually gets airshot now, and Martin's going to be rotating up top, eating a fair amount of damage. Nobody actually in. Can't quite clean him up. Eventually gets him. Martin's super close to the Uber charge there, but actually manages to get taken down there. So Seeds is actually going to escape out. and away with his life. That I can't help but feel like they've just been 007. They've been James Bonded into the corner.
Yeah. There's not much more to add to that. So he's gonna have a pretty good advantage, so they can just try this again. I would kind of like to see them have a little bit more information before they go this time, just so that they at least know whether. Oh my God, Gas was just hiding, and then he takes down the medic. I didn't spot that at all, and neither did they. He was just hiding in the bunker the entire time, and Mud just walks back first into him, gets 2 shots.
Yeah, now they're playing this heals advantage gameplay where they're getting beamed up and then taking fights with spam at range. Kuno actually getting super weak as they pop through the doorway in towards Deli's face, but Deli just going to hit the bandy bind and go back into spawn there. As Nasboy getting off the sentry gun, the sticks have been dead on the point. They did kill Kuno with it. Aidlos now is going to be moving around towards his medic as he was getting heavily pressured. Deli going to be surfing back now, but good frags for the side of the bus crew. Nubby, Gazzy, and Seed's going to be retreating out towards second. Caper is on the chase with Aidlos, and they are going to just clear out this area. No demo man, so no traps heading in towards second. Nubby tries to go for a bomb, but just gets knocked all the way back by these scouts, and he can't make anything happen on the second point. Yeah,
great denial there by them, and we kind of see here what I was talking about with this last one being a lot longer. They were just unable to, like SVIFT were unable to get in there, get pressure onto the point, and to kill both players and like deny the spawn. They were just unable to do all of it at once, and we do get the Kuno sniper to see now. Let's see if he's still just completely on, like just turned on.
In before he peeks around the corner and just immediately headshots someone off the bat.
Yeah, I kind of feel like he's just in this kind of mood where he's just gonna delete people, you know. All right, he's gonna scope up now. He's probably gonna wait for someone to open the door for him, or he's just gonna do it himself.
Oh my God! There you go. I seem to be calling it this entire season with the sniper gameplay. Apparently, I can just read minds. I've been messing with Voodoo at some point. I was casting Highlander earlier in the week, and the same thing was happening. I don't know what's wrong with me.
I don't know. Yeah, you're extremely good at calling snipers dropping medics for some reason. It's like your superpower. Usually casters are really bad at doing that, but that's just your thing, man.
I don't know. I think it's just because Kuno's so good. That's all it is. Anyway, they're heading into the second here. It looks like Deli set up a really strange amalgamation of traps. He has got one on the bridge, and he just dets out for no reason and doesn't find anyone at all. So Seeds is now nice and safe with his Uber advantage that he has. Down to a 60% ad now. Martin is building up that Uber. And looks like they have managed to get a sentry gun built. It is only currently level 2. Should be level 3 by the time they come in. And Nasboy now going to be moving in. The Uber has been popped. Going to be layering up those stickies underneath the gun. They actually clear out a couple ones, so it does take a little while for that gun to go down. Looks like they're going to be edging this point. Gazzy on top of it, but Deli getting healed up now. Jeevan was the only one that went down. But Martin goes down again. The headshot from Kuno to take him out. As Aidlos going to be walking out the spawn door now on the poo. Deli is too weak to take this fight and goes down to the scatter gun of Gazzy. Nasboy going to be walking towards the point. The pipes are out. They take down Aidlos. Caper goes down, and that's going to be another round.
The hero shot onto the medic there, just enabling that secondary push to come in for SVIFT to just take the second round. 2-0 now. Man, Kuno is just really on at this game. It's kind of crazy. I feel bad for Martin. He just cannot get a break. He just keeps getting jumped and taken down. It's not an enviable situation, that's for sure. Deli's pretty fast. Let's see if he gets jumped.
Deli? What? Okay,
wow.
He's dead. Thank God for that. I don't know what that was, but that was incredible. Well, he just leaps to his pack, takes his pack, jumps to their pack as the demo man, and then dies. That was an entire mid-fight. Whooped also dying, and that's all she wrote. Josh is already in on top of Martin. But Martin, nice little dodges there, does manage to escape, and Nasboy getting run up by Aidlos. Does go down, Seeds is alone in choke. Aidlos knows it, he's going to be running in, but Gazzy is going to be there with the defense as Seeds hits a nice little 50 damage arrow to Aidlos to force him back. But this mid-fight is not over. Jeevan is currently moving in with the rest of his team, and they are going to be currently on top of this point, capping it out. As SVIFT are going to be on a retreat, but they are getting forward spawners.
SVIFT kind of got baited by their own success in that situation. They was like, oh my God, we're pounding, we got the demo man for free, let's go, let's go, let's go. They just kind of like filed in one by one and got taken down by bus crew. There's a turnaround. This sword is in the skybox right now, Jeevan. He is going to survive that. He doesn't quite create it, but Kuno has actually been taken down. There's a ton of pressure going on right now. And SVIFT, they're kind of buckling under the pressure. Not sure how well this is going to go for them. Caper trying to take down this sword, but Josh somehow managed to do an even trade as he's going to come in here. He's trying to clean everything up. Not quite going to be able to, but I feel like bus crew, they're kind of on the low ground. They might consider just moving out, but they're not leaving, Lucky.
I think Warp needs to bomb onto bats here and just get behind and just force them to look in a different direction. Josh is getting absolutely tanked right now with damage, but it doesn't matter. He gets arrowed up. And he's going to survive all of that damage that came in, and they're having to get forced back here. The bus crew in a very precarious position. Martin moving back and choke with Jeevan, who's very weak. Gets the air arrow onto Jeevan, but it looks like Deli also going down to Gazzy as he kills himself there trying to escape. But well played there from the side of Swift just to hold their ground. Josh is going to be jumping through. Jeevan bombs in towards the demo. Is going to get shot at by both soldiers, but somehow survives that.
All right, easy enough. Also, I just want to point out that he didn't really kill himself as much as he airshot Nubby, like careening into him with a spoon, and then he killed himself with his own pipe. So, a better fate, in my opinion.
I can respect that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something I can get behind. Looks like they are going to be heading in towards lobby here. It is Evanubis currently, but Jeevan is dead, so they are going to try and get some pressure down. Caper up on this sniper with the engineer as well is going to be that double defense. The pressure onto Seeds is going to mean they're going to play super passive. The one thing I do notice out of Seeds is that he plays so passive that it affects his frontline team. So as we can see right now, Josh is getting bullied by Deli because he doesn't want to walk around the corner and gets destroyed. And it looks like Nubby is meeting the same fate. Wasn't overhealed at all and goes down immediately. So Siege playing in this corner, kind of baiting his team a little bit.
Yeah, he just popped.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's a really precarious situation now. There are two players down. One of them is Demo Man, one of them is a soldier. Those are usually the people you want to kind of use to get move forward, you know. But hey, they still have this full Uber advantage, and it's it's kind of a good illustration of what can happen when you try to be aggressive and it doesn't work out there. You can get forced out. The Seeds happen here. He's on 50% though, and you can see this Demo Man. He's not being tanked right now. He's not being able to push out. Like Martin is super far back. It doesn't look like he wants to push, but like surely they would want to with this Uber advantage. They're down 2-0.
Are they scared of a sniper? I think they're scared of a sniper. I feel like something got called that wasn't existing because they just did not want to walk through there or use through whatsoever. Maybe scared of a back cap. Because we've seen Swift before, they do stack for the back cap. They send Gazzy and Nubby like across top IT and just throw them behind and just pray something works out, and the chaos is usually enough to get that last point. But it looks like we are heading back towards this last here. No off-classes for the side of Swift, but we're still seeing that sniper out of Caper. And Deli here going to get tanked in this doorway, dealing tons of damage with the bomb through all towards Martin, and they get the drop again. That is so sad.
Yeah, just Jaws gets in there, and I feel like Martin was just looking down the rocket there the entire time. And man, this is just the ultimate punish. They just did nothing with the Uber advantage. I really feel like they should have pushed with that. Like, surely doing a bad push is better than just sitting back there and not using it all. Just go for like the 80 IQ demo bomb in with the Uber, right? Like, it's fine. Sometimes that works. But as it was, they just kind of sat around until their medic dropped, and now they're going to be facing down this full Uber advantage coming in here, and the center gun. That's going to be the only line of defense, really. But hey, let's see if Bucky can recover.
Looks like Jeevan's going to be the one that's getting focused out here. Nubby just getting on top of him. Nice little direction with his forehead. So Jeevan cannot retrieve the shutter. Cap time down from Kunu. Nasboy moving forwards. Actually nearly dead on himself there. He gets flung into his own stickies with a cap time from Kunu. He just runs up and stands on it. There's nothing they can do about it. And that is going to be that. 3-0 to Poseidon's fifth now with 14 minutes left on the clock.
Just runs onto the point, breakdances on it. He's really feeling himself there. That was some really good pressure as well. As soon as Demo Man didn't have stickies on it, he just immediately got on it. I don't even think he intended to cap it out, but hey, if you get the cap, you don't complain about that for sure. And that's what's going to get pressured quite a bit by a soldier, but Soldier's going to get pressured back. So now we're just in this situation where a lot of hurt on both sides.
Jeevan receiving 2 arrows after he bombed in super deep early on top of Nasboy. Did buy his team a bunch of room here, but Nubby is going to be coming in for the flank on top of Martin. He does take him down pretty much immediately. Nasboy also going to be going down. Deli dying as well. Aidlos managed to scale on top of Nubby, but it looks like Aidlos also going down for his struggles by Josh. It looks like they're getting the cleanup that they needed. Seeds has actually made his way on top of the point here. Is going to be beaming up. So we've got Caper standing in choke, staring at them like, what am I supposed to do, man? Please.
He's just going to go bully Nasboy, it looks like. That's his plan. I like that better than just standing there accepting your fate. Don't accept your fate, Caper. Fight. You can do it. He's going to run into full play. Oh, he kills Nubby. There we go.
Okay. Yes, my friend. Keep running. Run, Caper, like your life depends on it. He's
There's only 3 Swift players on mid, and Bosco are actually beginning to enter in there.
Yeah, they're going in. This is incredible, actually. They know that Josh is still behind, and they are only just getting these players forward. In fact, they've only got 4 forward here, and it looks like they're going to be running in towards this choke, but Seeds currently has a supercharge, maybe fearing for the side of Bus Crew now, as they did get super deep in that choke. That was a perfect opportunity there for Nasboy to just take an Uber in and just catch them all, but opting to not go for it. Caper is still being a nuisance in behind, and it's actually buying so much space. Gazzy and Josh have just been back for him this whole time, and it's allowed Martin to get his Uber. So this is a pretty nice play here from Caper, just living behind, causing the anxiety as they're sending players back for him. They want to catch him.
Oh my
he
God.
gets Snubby, and he gets pistoled down by Gazzy. Jeevan eventually dies as well, and some other random fight, but Caper there, very well played.
Yeah, Jeevan got the Uber Force while all of that was happening, so just gets everything out of it that you could ever want. Okay, got a Soldier coming in here, but no, Josh not going to be able to get there. The Soldier just put his body in the way. Get down, Mr. President. Make sure you don't die. He saved his life. He's a good bodyguard. Now all of a sudden, it's going to be just all about can Martin hold on to this. And actually, yeah, he does. Gas is going to go down. It's just going to be a matter of connecting cat Seeds. Look, remember, he doesn't have scout speed. And they are jumping in very aggressively, but it looks like Seeds will manage to escape.
Looks like he has managed to escape there. Nasboy's going down to Caper's scattergun as they head towards this midpoint, and also Warped gets a pick up to Nubby with a bit of long-range spam, which is just what you want there. So Kunu going to be retreating through lower with Seeds, and they are going to be able to pick up the second point. Gazzy actually on the heavy on the forward spawn is going to be trying to desperately back spawn as the mid cap goes through, and Deli. Why am I saying that? Josh has actually been Ubered in. Martin is just trapped. He didn't have an Uber at all, and they were super overextended there, not counting the Ubers at all. In that entire situation.
Yeah, either that or they weren't keeping track of where the enemy medic was. Because that's kind of the thing when you have this Uber event. Like, it doesn't matter what the Uber percentages are as long as the medics are just nowhere close to each other, right? But yeah, as it was, Seeds had snuck his way in there through the side entrance, and they were very close to Martin, and all of a sudden he was just caught in no man's land and got murdered, absolutely. They even took a little bit of extra time. That wasn't bad aim. People, they were just taking their time murdering him, making sure he spawned a little bit later. So Seeds gonna get that. He still has the Uber advantage, and looks like they might even just go in here immediately, not gonna wait until they have the full Uber. Like, Josh is in so deep already. You can see Nubby is also kind of perched in a position where he's ready to jump.
Okay, but also on Sniper in the forward spawn, finding Nasboy with a trap there for Deli is going to slow them down quite a bit here. So Seeds actually getting up to 100% Uber, does have that 30% advantage that we were just talking about, and they're going to be moving in, and Caper not in a position to get any snipes off, and Jeevan actually finds Nubby in behind, which is a pick that you kind of want there. Martin actually getting trapped by one, gets juggled in the air by Josh and gets taken down. Unfortunately gets the wall, got Kunu in the skybox. No, and he gets Deli as well, but Seeds going down and Jeevan finding Gazzy, and this is a bit of an even fight here. It's turned into an absolute scrap fest, and Kunu in one is going to take a 1v1 with Caper and lose, unfortunately, on that low HP, not having the health advantage to win that one out.
Yeah, that was incredible. Just in the skybox. He just basically dropped down from Mars and got onto the demo man there. That's pretty funny. So Nubby now in Sniper, he's done some absolutely insane stuff on Sniper this season as well, and seasons before that. So not even less of a threat than Kunu. It's a very scary proposition here. Ubers are kind of even, so this is a good time to go for Sniper. Especially when you have this slight Uber disadvantage in this situation. So Nubby, he's just going to position himself and choke here. See if he can get a good angle. Looks like he's going to rotate around, and they're probably going to try and open the door again and see if they can get Martin again.
Yeah, usually 90% of the time while your team is building Uber, you don't really send sacks. You wait until you get your Uber and then you start sending sacks. But when you get the Sniper class up, you can start doing stuff straight away, because Sniper is a doing things class when you're doing nothing. So that's what Sniper brings to the table. But Josh there getting super low in the flank is going to get healed up now. But because they don't have Nubby on Soldier, not fearing the meme spoon for Martin, so he's just going to be able to sit back on this point and chill out as they are going to be peeking on this shuttle once again. I feel like he should be privy to this, and he is. So he's sitting on top of Top IT, the most defendable fortress in the team of Fortress.
Indeed, they're actually going in pretty aggressively here through the BC area. It's very surprising, and Demoman was not expecting it. Look at that Nasboy, he was holding really far forward, and they were just so caught out there. Everyone else was just in sewers, and they're caught in there, like they're all caught in sewers. Martin has pop though, so they have the Uber advantage, but this is a weird situation.
Yeah, I don't feel like this is going to work out well for them. Now they just need to scatter, and they do. They just retreat everywhere. They're not finding anyone that's Uber, and Seeds has been isolated and choked. It's probably just, he should just hit a kill bind here. There's no way he's surviving this. Does get a few nice surfs out though. Goes down super late though. He does kill bind when he hits the ground. Kuno is actually in on mid here, and a few sticky chops getting set up by Nas, but nothing too significant. Caper getting taken down the back line there. Yeah, very nice.
Alright. Overall, this was a great result for the bus crew. They managed to clean everyone up. Just that aggression through PC area, that's so rare that you see that. You can very clearly tell that nobody was spotting that. They just knew. I think they spotted the medic in sewers, and they was like, alright, we're just gonna like go in hard. Because actually one thing that I have noticed so far in this game, oh no, Martin goes down again. God. No. I can't speak for like 10 seconds without this happening, it seems.
Caster's curse, Peter. That's what it is. You talk about Martin, he died. Okay, Deli hit a nice air shot there. Should probably mention that. As Nasboy gets a trap on him. And any progress Jivan bombing in super deep. Actually on top of Seeds here. Somehow this worked out for them. Despite losing Martin and Deli, they managed to win it, and it's actually a wipe.
Yeah, incredible. And they're even going for the full cap here. Scouts on it. 3 spawners, but I don't think they're going to be able to get there in time. And
let's go!
Wow, bus crew, they make the comeback. There's 7 minutes remaining. That's plenty of time to get 2 rounds.
Yes. 3-1 on the scoreline. The bus crew have actually managed to get a scoreline down for the first time in this series, in this quarterfinal. 7 minutes remain on the clock, so we're going to see if they're able to bring this one back in this series. They really need to if they want any chances of making their way into a medals position. Currently going to be ending up with 4th place if they do not make a comeback here. But Nubby bombing in really deep. Deli actually on a Moomer roll out on the right hand side, but Warped gets crushed by Josh in the air, and it's going to be Ablos here, super weak on the point, trying to fight against the world, but not able to find anything at all. And the rest of the bus crew are going to be retreating out. Really good HP currently for the side of SVIFT, so they're not going to be stopping anytime soon.
Great top control there, and even Nubby's going to come in here off top. He's going to end up trading there with Jevin, but that's still going to be a lot of space bought here. Actually, nice pipe coming out there from Deli. Going to just rebuff Josh as he was trying to bomb in onto him. But yeah, that was a really, really good mid there by SVIFT, by the way they just controlled top. Just the soldiers came in there, completely destroyed Ward up top, made sure that he wasn't able to contest anything. And now I feel like I have time to talk about how I feel like SVIFT, they do this thing where they have the medic in one spot and then they only hold with like a single player in one other spot, and that might be what Bosco just realized here. So he's gonna get jumped, and he actually respects Jevin enough to pop on that, and he didn't want to get a shot.
I mean, in those kinds of situations, I feel like it's kind of fine to pop. They are currently 2 down on the side of the bus crews. They've got a little bit of time to play with, but the one saving grace for the side of the bus crew before they get heavily pressured by the remaining players is that they've got this sniper, and the sniper pressure onto Martin as well as that scout is actually going to force the Zuber out. So they're going to be heading in through 1 currently. They're going to send these bombs directly towards this choke. Together, the synchronicity is there, and they find Nubby with the bombs, and that's just what you want. 3 players down. They need to stack to block these forward spawners, and they do. So they're going to be making their way in towards mid now. Nubby down, so no sniper pressure, and there's no Ubers on the board, so they're going to be unable to contest this mid.
Completely bullied out right now. This is really good. It is an Uber advantage on Seed, so it looks like they're going to go in through PC, try and see if they can come in here and once again catch up Martin. Martin, he is very close. Yeah, he has been caught out. Look at that. He is not surviving that, but everyone else actually just ran in behind them. They're going for the back cap. This is a very odd situation right now.
I feel like it's the play they need to go for, though. They don't have a choice. Otherwise, they get forced all the way back to their last with an Uber dissat. So this is the play. Irregardless of how this ends up, it's going to be one way or the other. But Caper hiding in behind. They know he's behind, though. He's hiding currently in 1. Gazzy and Josh are privy to this, while the rest of the spawners are actually coming through for bus.
He's not even shooting.
Nas is actually capping the forwards as well. He's just sat there. He's doing nothing at all. He's sticking off that shirt and says, "This is mine." Actually, he might die here. Jumps back in towards mid and does survive. But they are getting some cap time down now. And Seeds has 65% Uber, so they're in a pretty favourable position here. But I liked that play from the side of the bus crew.
Yeah, like definitely as soon as you've overextended like that, like they were basically behind the enemy boost already, so they had to go to the back end. Definitely the right play here. And bus crew, they're pushing into the enemy Uber. That's very weird. So they're actually getting the picks right now, and that means that no one can actually go forward right now for the or for SVIFT.
Yeah, Warped and Caper getting so much work done on the back line. Jeevan's coming in now and towards Nasty. Caper's onto the Seeds, but gets pinged around by Kudu and Josh. Not like can do that. Nubby getting taken down as well. And Josh is actually going to be flanking around on this mid. Gets an ammo pack for himself while he jumps on top of Martin. He's in behind him, whiffs the first rocket as the players on the bus crew are going forwards. Nice surf from Martin, going to be surfing back there. But Josh, super weak, and Martin needs to escape. He's just pinging out arrows, trying to find that pick onto him before Seeds is going to arrow him up here. Martin needs a respawner desperately. He does get warped on the spawner. And the rest of the team are going to be coming forwards here, but no cap out the side of the bus crew is going to mean that the side of SVIFT are more than happy to be moving forwards into the second point.
Yeah, you need 11 HP to jump as a soldier, and he didn't have that. He had 10. But here comes the meme spoon. He's going to get the force out along with a lot of really good spam here. Nubby even survived. Josh will go down.
Nice.
Yeah. Deli's going to sacrifice his life to get through the force out though. So, oh no, Martin's been caught again. Okay, looks like that's not quite the case. Actually, it is.
Oh no, this is sadness. All of the players going down. It's a wipe for the side of the bus crew. SVIFT have got cap time currently going down on the second point, and it looks like Nas already moving forward here to sticky off a shutter door on the right hand side. Is going to sticky that off. Cap time is down, and that's going to be another round to the side of SVIFT. And it's not doable anymore. It's 4-1 on the scoreline. Seed somehow has 118 points with 2 minutes remaining on the timer.
Yeah, that's crazy. He just never dies. And I'll just point out that my 4-1 prediction is looking pretty smart right now. Look.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're 9-head player. That's what you are.
Yeah.
Massive
8 is not
brain.
enough for me. I need 9.
Heading into this next mid, however, we're going to see if they want to get a few salvage rounds out on the side of the bus. Nubby bombing it so deep into this choke. Massive damage from him, and that's more enough space here. Force. Okay, Kunu's up on sniper. That's why they're playing passive. They're more than happy to just chill out in this choke while Kunu just pings them all down.
That was the... Is it the airstrike? Yeah, it was the airstrike jumper. That's why he just had so much speed. He landed like on the enemy's second point. so that's a rollout, alright.
Oh no! Cape gets the headshot to Seeds. I didn't even notice that Cape was on the sniper, but nice shot from him onto Seeds. Kudu going down as well. Martin, yeah, he died at some point. I didn't notice when, but Cape still on the sniper. Can he hit this headshot to Gazzy? No, he can't. As Gazzy hits that meat shot. Not fearing whatsoever here. As we've got Aglos taking a 1v1 with Gazzy on the mid. Nubby's going to be chilling out in 19. Gets taken down eventually by Aglos with the scan gun.
Yeah, kind of the important part in fact here is that mid hasn't been captured at all. There's not even time on it. It's super slow. And Josh can't come out. I think he's on the direct hit. Yeah, he is. So jumping people, do it, please. Demoman's in super aggressively. Actually going to trade with Kunu into... I mean, that's a thing. Come on, jump Josh. I'm just watching Josh right now. So Nubby is kind of going for some aggression.
I'm waiting for Josh to type "do it, pussy" in the chat, and someone jumps him and gets immediately a headshot.
You don't have the guts, pussy. Jump.
You don't have the guts. Warp's jumping around in IT. Might be able to land some kind of shot onto him. Gazzy's on Pyro. His main class is what we wanted to see all game. As Kudu gets headshot to Martin. Martin currently playing the scout class rather than the medic class because, you know, this game is basically over. 20 seconds remaining on the clock here. 4-1 is the scoreline for this game.
Airshot denied.
Yeah. Josh is, he's not hit a lot with this.
This is a crit, by the way, going into spawn. This is we've entered full pop mode. The crit's creeping the enemy forward spawn. No, actually, it's not a forward spawn.
One taps Gazzy. Beautiful. Anyway, there it is. 4-1 on the scoreline. Seeds ending this game with 125 points. It looks like SVIFT are going to be moving forwards. And commiserations to the bus crew who have been knocked out of ETF2L season 37. Unfortunately, the Premiership division is over for them. And SVIFT will be moving on to the next stage.
Yeah, indeed. They will be facing Faint Gaming coming up in... I don't know when. They obviously need to schedule it first. That's going to be one hell of a showdown. I kind of have my money on SVIFT. I feel like SVIFT are going to do it again, where they just kind of charge up throughout the entire playoffs and then go Super Saiyan in the finals. But, wait, there's only one way to find out, and that's to tune in the next time whenever we broadcast this, right? But let's look at some logs here, shall we? I obviously looked at Kunu's accuracy, and it's all the way down at a paltry 77%. Like, can you believe it?
Disgusting behavior, Kunu. We expected better from you with your 91% accuracy. Come on, man. Pull it together.
Yeah, still the highest in the server, but it's just not good enough.
Yeah, so the other thing to point out as well is that Aidlos actually top frag in the server. But kills across the board, I'm noticing that Delhi got 10,000 damage but only 8 kills. Like, he top damaged in the server. He did super well in this game, actually. There was a point where he got bombed by 1, and you called out that he airshot Josh. But if he didn't hit that air shot, he would have just died, and that could have been another round on the board. It could have been 5-1 if he'd gone down in that scenario. But didn't Martin actually got 17 deaths? A few were in the garbage time, admittedly, but I think it was only 1 death in the garbage time. Yeah, it was on that 1 scout. So he died 16 times in total on medic.
Yeah, like this was something we could definitely feel, right? Like he was constantly being caught out, getting bombed, he was getting dropped. And they were just so efficient at getting people onto him. And even when Bosco had a massive advantage, like Swift, they would just sack their entire team to get Martin, and they did get Martin. And it's not easy to play in those kind of situations. So Swift, they definitely did their part to make this work. And also, he only got 5 charges to seed 17. That's an enormous stat. 5 charges.
I think the one thing I have to say about Seeds is that he likes to pop through doorways. He's a medic that enjoys popping through doorways. Like we saw it time and time again on like Gully Wash, where he would just use through a big door or use through a shutter or whatever it was. He doesn't like peeking anything. He likes to make sure that he gets his team in and he gets through, more importantly, through onto those points and gets the space they need. And that's primarily what they use their Ubers for when you have Seeds as a medic. And it is really reliable. It's super reliable, in fact. But yeah, so that's anything jump out with you, the numbers? Anything else? Who's got the most air shots? 11. Warped MVP, okay?
Yeah, like look at his KD as well, like his damage. It all looks pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I've got to say, actually, Warped. I know that he's a very strong caller, and this man is he's come from Div 1, moved up through the ranks, and now is getting 4th place in Premiership. I'm pretty proud of what Warped's actually achieved. He's a really, really strong player, and I really like the guy as well. Super nice guy. So, yeah, I'm proud to see that he's doing well in this Premiership season.
Okay, I found a good stat as well.
Okay.
It kind of piggybacks onto what we've seen as well, but the damage taken, if you look at it, Seeds has almost half the damage taken.
Oh my god. Please. Enough. Please. I believe we actually have some people on the interview channel, so let's start dragging some peeps in.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, we've got a few people in there. Let's go. Okay, who have we got here? We've got Gazzy, Kunu, Jeevan, Caper, and Seeds. How's it going, gentlemen?
Hi, it's going alright.
Nice.
It's good.
Hi.
Seeds, you're always so quiet. You don't sound ecstatic that you've just won this game.
It's a fun game.
Fun game. Okay. Question for Kunu. How does it feel winning this game, man?
Feels fine.
Nice.
Feels deserved.
Did you feel like coming into this game that you were fearing the bus crew at all? How did you feel about coming into this one?
I wasn't fearing the team, I was fearing falling asleep.
Wow.
Wow. Come on, man.
That's...
The Swift Gaming Esports organization does not condone the sentences of Kunu, and he is leaving the gaming house.
Thank you, Seeds, for not condoning it. Caper, I want to talk to you about stuff as well. You went in behind a lot, and did you know that you ended up dragging like 2-3 players back when you did? Because a lot of people were watching you the whole time. There were like 3 or 4 opportunities where you could have, like, you know, backcapped or just snuck around a bit more and your team could have pushed, like, on a lot of opportunities. Go watch it back. How did it feel in those games playing against SVIFT? Did you feel pressured at all that entire game?
Well, the thing is, we didn't have 2 good calls, so I never really knew what was going on when I was behind it. Didn't know how many people were on me sometimes, and what our combos doing and shit. Yeah.
I mean, we have to play with Nazboy, so I can relate.
Okay, talk to me about that, Seeds. What is it about Nazcoms that are awful?
There's a Steam group. Everyone should join. It's called We Hate Nazboy. Great Steam group.
I feel like this has devolved very quickly. Beta, any questions, sir?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I want to hear from Javen. I want to hear, like, what was your takeaway from this match, and is there anything you wish you could have done differently?
Yeah, loads of things, man. Loads of like regrets of how I managed the team. I built the team in about a day. I just took a bunch of players. I was like, Caper didn't want to play with Feint or whatever, like what version of Feint there was with different players. So I was like, let's make a team. But when I made the team, the mistake I made was I think I should have played Pocket and we should have found a Roma. And I think that the way we like developed as a team wasn't. We didn't really practice properly. A lot of the time, we didn't incorporate everybody into the pressure. Like we could have got everybody, involved in shit with the pressure cooker stuff. Like best example I can give you is like when we're like pressuring Gully last and Capers in water.
Yeah.
Like other teams will put sticks on point and then run the scouts in once the solly gets spammed off of like the top of the rim. But we just were never able to do that. Like we never practiced for that, and I think that's my mistake there. And I think I should have definitely played pocket. We should have found a main caller. I did try and ask Demos. Demos will tell you the amount of times I asked him, but I just that was the main mistake, that the team never developed. Like the way Feint developed was like we probably should have beaten them actually on Snake when we went to Golden Cap and lost, but we had like a couple med jobs, a couple 99% deaths. We played that poorly. But then at the end of the season, Feint was actually always destroying us pretty much. We never got close in scrims. And you can just see the progression of the teams. And our team didn't progress as much. I think that's my fault.
Yeah, there's definitely been a lot of teams that kind of took a step up this season and kind of just really came into their own. So are you guys planning to continue next season? Or are you going to shake up the roster a bit?
None of us talked about it, so we know as much as you. I don't know.
All right.
We'll see what happens throughout the season, what happens, You could end up getting a few players here and there or just changing up things altogether. We do see that from a lot of Prem teams. So I have a question now for Mr. Kunu, man. How are you feeling about coming into the next round versus Feint? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Heel's been in my back pocket for a good while now, so...
Yeah, there was this time in our warm-up scrim where Kunu was on the beam whole time, lost 1v1 against Yeehor, 125, screaming, threatened to leave the team.
Yeah. Good job with Ghazi as well. I didn't even notice he's in.
There's a prophecy, and the right person will
you okay?
be the big no.
Okay. You
Interesting.
You doing okay?
Yeah,
okay.
I got a question.
Go on.
All right.
How did you guys change so much from Offie on like week 6? I think week 5 or 6. Like, how did you guys like the way you played today? I can see you guys being both Sentan.
Well,
you just scrim more. That's it.
None of my teammates like sunshine because they see the sun and they never go outside, and it's really difficult for them to be confronted with that. So
I guarantee
we have to ban
I go
sunshine
outside more than all of you.
Like Kunu's the whitest person I've ever met. It's genuinely worrying. So we banned that map, and then we're goat mode.
Nice. So is that why you got Metalworks as the last one, the darkest map?
Yeah. All
I
of my
appreciate
team
that, yeah.
actually haven't seen the sun in years.
Wow, incredible. Yeah, I haven't got any more questions, Peter. Have you got anything you wanna add, or are you good?
I guess I want to hear from Javen and his team. Like, what do you guys think of the rule set this season? Because it is kind of a experimental season with the medic speed and the gunboat buff, and my favorite, you can shoot through teammates. I never realized how much I hated that. It's actually the one thing I'm really going to fight for is to stay. But what's your take on it, Javen and Caper?
Oh, no comment. I've only played one season. This is my debut when I played without mid speed, so I actually don't know how teams play with mid speed.
Yeah, I missed the winger bind.
Yeah,
I can tell.
Winger clutch.
And
Crutch.
med speed was also nice, yeah.
Yeah. One other thing I want to talk about as well, actually, I forgot to mention it. Ghazi Pyro, I love you for playing Pyro as much as you do, especially when you pulled that on Gully Wash last. I was so happy.
Thank you.
Why are you so good at Pyro? This is my last question.
Thousands of pugs.
Not really pugs. I don't know.
Highlander
I think
pugs.
I'm just driven by how it pisses people off, so that like gives me power. Like I really enjoy it when.
I like that. That's
you're wrong than that.
We're begging for him to stop playing Pyro,
the
but
flag.
he just says that he won't.
No, shut up, Seeds. Shush. Be quiet.
Goodbye.
He's allowed to play Pyro. The
Okay.
flare gun
thank you.
makes it. Anyway, I'm done for questions. So I guess we'll just throw it a shout out. So Mr. Kunu, man, any shouts from you?
Shout out team. Shout out Demul in chat. Shout out to Luke and Ethan. That's all.
Gazzy, any shouts?
Yeah. Shout out to my team, Kuno, Seeds, Navi, Josh, and Nasboy also played.
Did he though? Yeah,
Jeevan, any shouts from you
pretty
sir, as
much.
well?
he was begging for crits at the end. He was like, "Oh, I got 200 DPM. I got negative. Please crit me."
I have no shoutouts.
Caper, shouts from you, sir.
Shout out to Olaf Tyson.
Great. Any shouts from you, Seeds?
Shout out my team, my cat and Ribs.
Nice. Beta Man, any shouts from you?
Shout out to Rahmed for being here on time. Absolutely. Same for Lucky. I wasn't panicking at all.
We were like trying to play a scrim before, and Josh was just pubbing on Upward, and I was messaging like, "You done? You don't need pub? We start like 15 minutes late."
I mean, you don't leave a pub mid-round. Come on.
Yeah, it's true. You
don't do that.
It was
I'm quickly going to throw a shout out to Rahmed for producing as well, be it for co-casting. You guys, the team's playing, and shout outs to the weekend charity clashes happening. It's going to be pretty fun. So go tune out on that on Chriscast. Should be a good time raising money for some good old charities there. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in this evening, and we'll see you in the next cast. Peace.